I ain't felt like a G6, I'm felt like a 40-yard screamer, knockable strike, Ronaldo free kick. I'm felt like a C3 plastic game boy pocket black buttons and
Gianni taking a lot of space, but it seems like BBL are more than happy to play retake in this scenario.
Certainly looks like it. Still waiting at the gates. Now the forces are all here. Chichu very low. KanKan in the same boat. A few traded blows for BBL will bring them back into this round, but they still have a lot of players to root from position. Not so much anymore. KanKan left alone with a sliver of health. A monumental task in front of him, and no chance, says Kraven.
Good with the pistols. That's normally where they actually build into things. So I still think they have to be a bit careful here. Gianni may have just learned that very early on the duelist rather than on smokes in the latter couple of maps. And that's a change I'm hoping to see when going forward into the next one, him continuing to be on more aggressive roles. The question is, though, can those weaker weapons on the BBL side still do damage? Well, maybe they won't need to already. Lovers Rock with a second. Kraven lurking in the darkness has managed to add a third. This is a buy that had 2 Guardians and the rest were pistols, and they might just win it flawlessly. Only KanKan stands between BBL and a bonus round conversion. A costly last round, but they do have to be careful. They can't continue to give this man of any too many individual fights, and a third already added to the tally. Still, they know exactly where he is, but they have done for the previous 3. The last 2 of LaRock and Kraven are going to try and group up together. They're going to try and play this a little bit smarter because they've given him so many opportunities, and somehow he still finds one more. It goes all the way to the final. KanKan almost just pulled up.
Showstopper, and he is pushing his way up behind, containing them now towards this site. Rotation from Rose coming through. Nightfall will be there. If EDG wait a little bit longer, BBL will have a lot more to play with, and already there is going to be a problem as they start, I think, almost trying to bait out a trip via the updraft dash backwards, but it wasn't caught. Now as they push deeper in, still that utility to deal with, and the Nightfall causing problems. They can't hear. Their HP low, and Kraven wrapping around, drops the spike. Now the wrap around all the way from B.
Новая коллекция уже вышла. Если не хочешь переплачивать лишние бабулечки, тогда познакомлю тебя с сайтом Wapoint, через который ты сможешь пополнить свой аккаунт нужной валютой. Я сам пользуюсь их сервисом, и всегда все было быстро и качественно, без каких-либо вопросов. А если у тебя возникнут проблемы или вопросы, как у них дела, то у них все отлично и все работает в штатном режиме в их техподдержке. На сайте Wapoint есть счетчик Valorant поинтов, где можно выбрать столько, сколько нужно для определенной покупки, не переплачивая лишнюю валюту. А также у них есть телеграм-канал, где каждый день проходят розыгрыши и выходят полезные новости. Переходи по ссылке в описании и закупайся смело, без сомнений. Wapoint — это качество и быстрая скорость выполнения их работы. Товар ты получаешь сразу после покупки, и после уже идешь наслаждаться жизнью и хорошим настроением, словно облака никогда не закрывали тебе теплое и яркое солнце. Будь здоров и не хворай, да буди, да будай.
HP, but still drawing breath. As now the flank, they'll become aware of it with the wall going up, but for EDG, they feel surrounded. The Seeker should give them direction to push towards spawn. They hope there's only one player there, but Rose is helping out alongside LaRock. Nade on the back of the C's, it'll get around the corner. That's a big problem for nobody. He won't be surviving that, and with the shot from Lover's Rock, now it's only 2 left. Now it's only 1 in the form of Jenny. He at least finds the first and has the nade. That could delay, buy him a little bit more time, but there's too many bodies. And BBL are looking to crunch towards A main. It seems like, again, the defense has the read, and the Cypher cam on C main, along with Kraven covering off B, is exactly why. The Cypher is giving them all that intel that they wanted.
Ooh, they're putting the pressure on, though. Oh, LaRock! He was stuck in a corner. They knew he was there, but even still, no shot. He's TP'd up there. Okay, that's mental. Rose will immediately trade, however, and in fact, he'll get both. I guess it doesn't... And the problem is this C site thus far has been a nightmare. Oh. LaRock actually taking a little bit of damage through the box. Instead, though, he peeks back and gets rid of nobody. Cage is up. And this time, the weaponry is going to be removed. A faster pace take. Loiter was trying to escape with his ultimate. The Showstopper on the other side has a chance for a double, but it's only 1. An advantage for the first time in a while. Kraven also down, but Rose already brings things back to even. Ults being popped on either side. Rose will deal with KanKan, and Gianni now has to try and find one of them with the ult, and he won't manage to do so. Lover's Rock was already past it. The youngster needing a clutch operator shot, missed, but he will deal with Rose, and then round the corner comes Lover's Rock. It's a nice try. Now running out of runway. Of course, they came into this tournament with one of their star players missing. It's no doubt that it was going to be difficult, but last time out they showed that they could compete even with that stand-in. Today has looked different though. Into the C site they go again, and into the hands of Krev and Rose. In fact, Rose is running forward just to support Loiter. This is a slaughter. The last man standing will be signed. Another attempt at a 1v5. It's the closest rounds they've had so far. But with 5 HP and a man behind, it is a few consolation.
Gonna try to find the seam here and pull on the thread. He's gone for the TP towards the stairs. But nobody's home. BBL playing a bit more passive, falling back. Lloyd is going to be on that backside with plenty of support. And again, boots on the ground, but 4 players here for BBL. They are ready every single time, and this one will be no different. Chichu, though, a lifeline with that pick. They might even get the plant out of this.
He's tanked up low. Sign trying to bait them into a fight, and he's done so, but Krev just isn't losing any fights today.
Considering how it went last time around for BBL, well, those OTs are looking very unlikely at this stage. It has been a dominant showing. KanKan stepping up to the plate for one, but only one as Loida shuts him down, and it's left to Sign. One against in a row. They got to start it that way. For individuals to show up, that's all I want to see, because the comeback, although Gentlemates might let this one slip, I'm not sure about BBL. And they don't have that kind of history to swing out on the back from KanKan. He's being spotted, he's being blinded, he's being naded, he's being shot, he is dead. And EDG end up in a 4 versus 4 with the plant coming through from BBL, and they're looking to fight. Of course they are. Most teams would sit back, but that is not BBL style. Trading blows though. Sends BBL flee.
Form with Spike.
Yeah, they're going to take this to the C site, but that's if they can get past Jenny.
The plant position is actually a bit of a problem. Back to the spawn Rose needs to go. The flank is now being watched.
They didn't hear each other.
They're ready for the move, but it's going to be the shot coming out on the other side. A chance to stop the 13-0. And Loiter, who hasn't had to do a whole lot this game, with a chance to clutch.
Oh, surely not. You think the pistol round could at least be the safe haven, the safe protocol for this squad, but Loida, he's brought it to a 1v1. A single point of health for EDG to avoid the 13-0, and they will do it. Chichu. You know, perhaps not. No, they're going all the way around. It's a very slow early round. It's very uncharacteristic for BBL to not even look for a scrap at this point of the game, but I think they want to close this out while it's still in dominant fashion and stop EDG from building up that little bit of momentum towards the end of the game. It will be nobody that's challenged. I said it had been a tough game for him, but that's a bloody nice shot.
No, he's got Gianni. He's got to get his gun out.
It's the worst gun for it.
The trip's offline, so we can actually catch them on the cross, but unlucky to not get Rose. 8 HP. TP past the wall. Sign left blinded. He's trying to deny them, but instead he ends up being caught. Him staying alive with the wall might have even been enough to potentially change the round. Instead, Chichu's going to try and maybe even run in and deny the plant, but he's too late. And LaRock's now caught him through the smoke. It's down to KanKan again to keep them alive. And he's got rid of a showstopper at least. Rose is pretty low. He almost pulled off a 1v5 earlier in the day. This one doesn't seem so difficult, especially with Rose so desperately low. A chance to catch him through the wall. Just needs a singular bullet to connect, but Rose is now hiding behind the pillar, not wanting to give his opponent anything, just trying to work off the time. Doesn't even care about anything else. It's ring around to Rose. He's gone all the way around behind him. He's just trying to wrap back around, and well,
they don't want EDG to get back into this. They believe it's possible, as they should. Kreven with the lurk has caught nobody. That's a big gap. Showstopper put through. Jenny's caught his head on the door, and he's a little slow, and the follow-up paranoia lands, but a shot from KanKan. It's not just one man pushing. No, this is a strategy from EDG. They're putting the pressure on from both sides. He's got his knife out. Oh, it's a big mistake. KanKan falls. And even with that great pick from Sign, it's a 3 versus...
In the decider matchup, one team goes through to the playoffs. The other team will be eliminated. Signed maybe a little bit ahead of where BBL expected them to be. Good paranoia, but the trade immediate onto it, and a lot of damage being done, but it will not be enough. A stellar first half out of BBL and an incredible turnaround. It does feel imperative Did they get on this board early? Start to put the pressure on to the Turkish Titans. Well, already, nobody is going to spot things out. Doesn't have a lot of immediate support, so he's going to have to do a lot of this on his own, but he has already picking off Larocque, but the trade is immediate onto his teammate. Still, he holds the backline, but only for a second.
Go, go, go.
Fishing for those kills has worked out so far, and now it looks to double down on the advantages. Weapons recovered, and from a strong bonus round to an unbreakable one with Jenny. Your last man standing, one under his belt, a solid start. Good flash out of the smoke. Spams might have gotten
They
him.
eventually closed out 13-4. This round, not a whole lot invested. A Bucky, SMG, a few pistols, but expectations low.
Decent cove, but Lover's Rock was already ahead of it. The chance for the pistols to thrive normally in those choke points. Now it will have to be towards the site. The wall at least allows them close with a flash through, and that's a good pickup for Jenny. Concon's there as well, but the push is coming in on the other side of the map, and nobody's fallen without anything to say for it, anything to show for it. And a plant now for BBL puts them back into this 3v3. They're not happy though. No, this isn't the passive team that we've seen in those first three. It's aggression now out of Larocque. I think he's 5-0 at the moment, possibly even more.
They check.
And it was Lloyd Asari.
Check.
Larocque's been slower, but of course he's delivering again in the corner. And perhaps they're seeing into the future. A fourth for him and a fifth on offer. He will find it!
Between the three of them. Now I want to see a response. Now I want to see something from EDG to make me believe this is going to be a close series in the early fight. It's shaky, and they're already gone. They're already dead and buried. Both Signed and Jenny gone. The lurk from Creven almost feels like an afterthought because there's going to be nobody left to lurk on.
A 2v5. A Hunter's Fury available for the post plant for Rose, and he is back in main, holding the flank. Speaking of which, look where Creven is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He is a defender and slowly boxing them in. There is nothing for EDG to do to win this round, short of spin botting, I think. And with EDG, Concon himself under pressure. Good job he doesn't have the office. There's a lot of targets coming his way. Dodges the paranoia, dodges the Hunter's Fury, but can't dodge the shots from Lover's Rock. And now it's Signed, who's being put under pressure every time. He's been caught off guard. He's been on the back foot. And indeed, he will backpedal to meet the rest of his team.
Spike isn't
Look
going this
at
way.
the position of Creven. He has taken all of the B site. EDG massively rotating, and they're still caught off guard! Larocque walked up on nobody in his drone, and nobody was covering him! Larocque in for more! He'll finally be put to bed a second time. 13-2. And the reward you get is a 3v2 retake on the other side of the map. On Jenny. And he's backed off the angle now. They start to think that this is a play elsewhere, that they have to cover off mid as the rotate comes in from nobody to go towards the A site, all thanks to the Viper wall. And now that means Chichu doesn't have backup. He doesn't have support. Even a flash can't make it through. He'll find one. Survives a full mount spray somehow. I mean, good work from Chichu. It looked like he should have gotten nothing.
Larocque also tagged low, so an advantage once again. Rose, though, instead has managed to kill off Concon. The trades, again, though, are immediate. Lover's Rock with one more catching Sign, and that gives them a path back towards the A site. In fact, they've left a player there once again. Lover's Rock will be able to get that planted position, but there is Larocque catching Gianni. Larocque low, you kind of expect him to be the first to peek, but they are sitting passively enough that they just wait for this player to get a move. Stun out already, and the second player still hasn't given the game away just yet. It's the run across, and Larocque didn't even need to.
And the outlaw buy here for Lover's Rock. Look how confident he is. He knows the buy that they're on. You can see the economy.
Of course. They win.
Double barrel operator now.
You win a round with not many surviving. Okay. Unchecked, there's nobody. They're even once again. Concon's going to try and be a little bit cheeky around the edge of that harbor utility. However, BBL are just patient. They're waiting it out. They know that the utility is probably the bigger risk in this one. Signed again. A 1-for-1 trade, and there's Concon to react, but once more, it goes back and forth. The advantage, though, this time claimed by EDG. It's up to Loiter. Now, the other defender is very far away. In fact, though, as he just about rotates in, that's where Loiter makes his move. Already on 3 kills in this round, looking for the ace. But Chichu might be a little bit further ahead than what he's expecting. Never mind, he's going to go forward. Is he looking to go all the way around?
I think he's just cutting the rotation through mid. Like, that's not a position you're going to expect someone to be sat in this situation. It's usually like you've got players on site distracting, but instead he's tucked in. Luckily, Jenny is clearing it. Pit and 3 players towards the A side. And a Hunter's Fury fired in by the attackers, trying to hunt down that kill attack, but it's Concom with a double. And the escape back, never mind, he's back for more. 3 versus 2. Advantage claimed by Concon, and the round could be closed by nobody. This position is nigh on perfect, and the fact that he didn't help with the mid fight makes you think that there's no way he'd be here, striking at just the right time. And now Kreven.
Depends if he wants to use it. Maybe one more kill and he might, but he's not going to get the opportunity.
A lot of utility as well that can come their way. The thing for BBL is that they're playing this so slow, so uncharacteristically slow. And I thought they were going to go for that mid split, but it looks like the plan is just to test them in a straight up fight.
Oh, snake bite is going to leave some of them a little bit vulnerable. First player through though. Nobody's done well to disrupt. Straight back, nicely done by Chichu, and he's looking for a little bit more. The sight hold of B is his domain in this round. And Rose is now the last man standing, and the ult is there to finish him off. Going to be patient themselves. I'm liking the position of Chichu. Maybe a chance to catch someone, but timing here is going to be everything. If he goes back through the door, even if he doesn't, it's given the game away to Larocque that somebody is going to be around this angle. He's waiting for his teammates to make a bit of a move to buy him some additional space, and the timing couldn't be worse for Chichu. Literally the second he stopped watching, and because of that, everything falls apart. Kankan is all that stands in their way from this second pistol round, but he's the man that may just be able to save them. Never mind. Loiter.
Where things take a turn for the better. And a turn for the worse for BBL. Otherwise, big trouble on the horizon. Paranoia. I don't think it caught Concon. It doesn't matter. Larocque's there, ready to defend his buddy. And now tucked in the corner. He'll strike from it alongside Rose. Shaky, but it gets there. In the end, Signed and Chichu surrounded, outnumbered. As that late play from Chichu comes in. Out series up against CDG. The comeback for the attackers, well, certainly running out of runway. A lot faster than a Furious movie. With the smoke down, a reveal behind it. Maybe a chance if that can catch a few players, but it's not caught anything.
Oh my!
In for the double. And Larocque follows through with the same. Again, Chichu's at the double doors. Something we'll remember for a long time to come. 7 in a row needed for EDG in a game that they have been shut out of. They found 9 rounds across both maps so far. Aggression from Concon shuts down the quick rotation, but they haven't seen that in the corner there was a little lurker. Kreven was waiting all the while, and now he strikes from the sidelines, leaving Concon alone and leaving EDG with a trip home. BBL push through to playoffs.
Yeah, we saw the organization do the same thing last year.
jeans, белый парень без шорт, они все актрисы, no risk, no story, я с бабками близко, мы делаем бумагу и читаем на английском.